He held my waist with one hand and tried caressing my breast with the other. When I forcefully stepped away from him, I said to him, "Sir, with all due respect, I refuse to accept this condition. You're a married man, and I have a fiancé I need to be faithful to. I'm sorry, I cannot do this with you, sir." I was shocked. He is a married man with children. How can I sleep with him?
Hi, I'm Chinwe, a graduate of Office Technology and Management and a master's degree holder in mass communication. I live in Port Harcourt and work as a personal secretary to the CEO of an oil servicing company in Rivers State. My fiancé Andrew works with a consultancy firm in Enugu. We have been together since my youth service days and are planning our wedding next year. I love him so much that I would do anything for him. The trouble in my love life started when my fiancé Andrew was diagnosed of kidney failure and his doctor referred him to a specialist hospital in Lagos. There, after numerous tests, he was told he would need to undergo a kidney transplant in India. You see, Andrew is a fan of herbal drugs. Few months back, he bought this concoction on his way back to Enugu after visiting me for the weekend. When I pleaded with him not to take it, he said,
"Don't worry, sweetheart. This is just a small detox portion. I will only purge for a day and my system will be sound again."
I admonished, "You make me forget sometimes you are a graduate. Of all people, you should know this is not good for your health now." He would always laugh it off. After taking that portion, he had a running stomach for 1 good week. He was admitted in a hospital and was later discharged. But from that time onward, he began to frequent the hospital. His doctor referred him to a specialist hospital in Lagos, where he was diagnosed of kidney failure. When I went to visit him in the hospital, with tears in his eyes, he told me a minimum of 12 million naira would be needed for a quick and successful transplant. His widowed mother had sold off the 3 plots of land his father left behind in the village for 1.5 million. The total amount he had saved since he started working was 2.5 million. He had no rich friends or relatives to borrow from.
Please, Chi, reach your contacts, even your boss if possible. In any way you can raise this money for me, I will pay it all when I get well again. I don't want to die this young,"
he said to me. His condition broke my heart. When I left his room, I broke down in tears by the corridor. A man strong and full of life had suddenly been reduced by kidney disease to a weakling begging for his life. He does not deserve to die this young. Getting back to Port Harcourt, I began to meet friends and colleagues, but none agreed they had money to lend or assist me. Each gave me a rundown of their problems, and I had no choice than to sympathize with them. I decided to go and meet my boss, the CEO. Entering the office of this important and intimidating personality for personal purpose was so daunting, but I mustered the courage and asked for 3 minutes of his time. I told him about my fiancé, his sickness, and how much we needed for his treatment, how much we've gathered, and how much I needed him to lend me. I promised we would pay him back to the last kobo as soon as my fiancé gets well. He looked at me and said,
"How much do you love this fiancé of yours?"
"So much, sir," I replied.
"How much are you willing to sacrifice for him?"
"Anything, sir. I will do anything for him, sir," I replied innocently.
"Okay. A week from today, I will transfer 8 million into your account. Forget about repayment,"
he said to me. I was ecstatic. I couldn't believe it. Then he said to me,
"Chinwe, you are a very beautiful girl. I know I've been admiring you for a long time. The sight of your curves make me hard most times when you enter and leave my office. You know, life is all about you scratch my back, I scratch your back, and you get what you want."
He held my waist with one hand and tried caressing my breast with the other. When I forcefully stepped away from him, I said to him, "Sir, with all due respect, I refuse to accept this condition. You're a married man, and I have a fiancé I need to be faithful to. I'm sorry, I cannot do this with you, sir." I was shocked. He is a married man with children. How can I sleep with him? I left his office in fear, trepidation, and confusion. I can't sleep with my boss to save my fiancé. I'm not that type of a girl. I became so desperate that I approached banks for loan. I was hoping for a miracle, but each turned me down. I got to learn that no bank in Nigeria gives medical loan. The few that managed to talk to me requested for a C of O of a well-located property, which obviously we do not have. That evening, Andrew's mother called me to know if I have been able to get any money. When I remorsefully told her no, she burst into tears, telling me how she suffered to raise Andrew as her only child, how none of hers and her husband's relatives agreed to lend her even ₦1. She begged me to save her son. I cried all through the night. I resumed work the next day, feeling dejected, hopeless, and exhausted. I entered my boss's office to submit a file. He looked up at me, and before I knew it, he was holding my waist and telling me,
"See how haggard you look, Chinwe, because of your stubbornness. How can you say you love him when you can't make small sacrifice like this for his life? See, nobody will give you 8 million naira for free. You'll be here keeping your virtue, and you will die on you. Your fellow girls beg for this opportunity. Free yourself for just 1 week and help your man, girl."
He started kissing me, and before I realized what is happening, he had sex with me in his office. Putting myself together, I ran out of his office and into the restroom in shame and cried my heart out. After close of work the following day, he sent his driver to pick me up. I can't be unfaithful to Andrew, but what other option do I have? If I can muster the courage and make this sacrifice, no one will know, and Andrew will be treated. I consoled myself. His driver took me to a 5-star hotel where he was waiting for me. He slept with me and I was filled with self-loath, but I consoled myself again with the knowledge that the end would justify the means. I couldn't concentrate on my work. How do I face Andrew? Where will I tell him I got this money from? Will he forgive me? Should I stop now? But I'm halfway deep already. He has already slept with me. Let me hold on and collect the money. 2 days later, my boss called me into his office again and told me,
"Chinwe, you have bewitched me. You know what? I just can't have enough of you."
He held me and we had it again in his office. I can't just wait for 1 week to elapse so he can give me the money and end this shame-induced sex contract. My boss did transfer the 8 million into my account after 1 week, and I was so happy and relieved. Speedily, I called my fiancé, spoke with the hospital admin, and transferred the money. His mother was there with him while I stayed in Port Harcourt because of my work. I was so relieved, free at last, and happy that Andrew will be alright finally. 1 week later, my boss requested for my presence. On entering his office, he approached me, held my waist, and tried caressing my breast again. But I struggled and freed myself from his hold. I told him, "We can't continue to do this, sir. I gave you 1 week of my body, and you gave me the money I needed. Contract closed. You are a married man, and I have my fiancé. Please, sir, let's pretend this never happened and go back to the way it was before." He laughed and said to me,
"You mean I will give you 8 million naira for just 1 week of your body? You must be joking and delusional. I'm already attracted to you and can't just let go like that. See, if you refuse, I will have no option than to release our sex tapes to your fiancé so that we will see how you have been enjoying yourself while he was lying in the hospital."
I couldn't let him do that. I couldn't let him destroy my relationship with Andrew. We reached an agreement I'll be with him once every week he is in town. My fiance's operation was successful and he is fully recovered now. He has been worriedly strategizing on how to start paying off the debt. I didn't know how to tell him the money is not to be paid back. He has been telling me he needs to meet the people that lent the money to me to thank and assure them he will pay the last kobo of it. But I wouldn't tell him. I've noticed he is becoming a bit suspicious about me. The way he looks at me for a long time in silence scares me. And I know he notices that I'm jittery and scared whenever he stares at me in silence. One weekend, I was with him when my boss called. I ended the call and it rang again. When I wanted to end it, Andrew took it from me and picked the call. He put it in loudspeaker and signaled me to talk to my boss. With shaky voice, I said, "Hello?" And my boss said,
I know you are not free, possibly with your fiancé. I want you here with me. Take the next flight down to Port Harcourt. My driver will be waiting at the airport for you. Your flight has been booked. Check your mail for your ticket.
I was shaking when the call ended to face my fiancé who was glaring at me. He threw these questions at me.
This is the CEO of your company, right? Since when did you start traveling with him? I thought his PA travels with him. Since when did you muster the boldness to cut the call of such a man without fear of being sacked? And why did he want you on a Saturday evening, not working days? See, I've asked you several times who lent that money to you, and you've not given me a convincing answer. Introduce me to them, you wouldn't. Let's plan on how to repay them, you avoid it. You behave as if you don't know how to tell me the money is not to be repaid. What is going on, Chinwe? What are you not telling me?
I hurriedly told him I needed to run so I don't miss my flight, but will tell him everything when I come visiting him next weekend. Now, I am caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. Should I muster the courage and tell him? Will he forgive me and still love and trust me like before? My boss is still blackmailing me. How do I make him stop asking me for sex? I'm so confused right now. Please, what do you advise I do to keep my man and also stop my boss from destroying my life?
Tell me what you think in the comment section. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up.